starting a business, like you've rightly said, it's not easy. But at the same time, from day one, be okay with doing the hard stuff. Something that I see a lot of early stage businesses make is from the jump, not treating your business like a business. Culture is important, and I think it starts from founders, right? You cannot give what you don't have. Culture kind of starts from like the founders, and then it trickles down to senior management, and then it goes down to every employee in the company. For startup founders / entrepreneurs who are trying to build businesses, you're the culture that you want to build. So if you're a toxic person, there's no way you're not going to create like a toxic culture. Be willing to not spare yourself for some time. Figuring out your structure and operations early. Free advice gives you an edge whenever it is you're going to ask an investor for money. Working with Gen Zs is not bad at all, right? But working with people who are problematic, that's where it starts. The problem, I think, is not really if you're Gen Z or if you're millennial, it's if you're a problematic person.
Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to another banging episode. It is the MTN Career Series. And you know how we do it. Every time we bring you one of the best when it comes to guests. We bring you life-changing and inspiring conversations. And today is no different. They say that what a man can do, a woman can certainly do better. And that's why today I'm going to be speaking to the one and only Iheakachi Nwabueze. Now, she is the head global marketing and growth for Gray. That's a leading US neobank. And she's my guest today. We're going to be having a fantastic conversation. When you talk about tech, you talk about marketing, you talk about PR, you definitely want to call Iheakachi. Iheakachi, how are you doing?
Hi.
Welcome. No, I need the energy pumped up because Superwoman, we're so happy to have you here. First of all, you look really, really good.
Thank you.
How was it like? How was your day?
Great. I mean, it's a work day, so not bad. Just the regular troubleshooting, figuring out issues.
Yeah.
Global marketing. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much
that.
Yeah.
Well, just reading about you, marketing, PR, tech startup, I want to know, how has the journey been like for you, for a woman precisely? Because we know how it is for women, but it seems like you're a woman and you're taking center stage. So how would you describe your journey of going into all of this?
Okay, that's interesting because I would say when I first wanted to go into marketing, so there's a kind of notion that I think even up till now, when I tell people I work in marketing, they expect it to either be what you'd call traditional marketing, right? And then you'd find that most of the people who get to be like CMOs, VP of marketing are usually like men. So being a woman, yes, it was definitely not the easiest. I will also say that I like to think of myself as dynamic, and I like to learn and study stuff. So when I was going to start out in my career, like make the pivot to tech, fintech was like becoming like a thing. We were starting to see African startups get funded, people were raising money, African startups were getting into YC, Paystack was starting to become like a lot more popular and things like that. So it just kind of made sense, right? I did not start out like at a very senior role. I like to say I built my way up through the ranks. My very, very first job in tech was in support. And I like to say even now I still do support once in a while because I think it keeps the business grounded. You want to like really get a pulse on what your customers are thinking and how they're feeling. So I started out my career in like customer support and trying to figure out, okay, what do people want? And that kind of gives you ideas, you know, like in support, you know what people are thinking, and then you're like, okay, so if you're not able to figure out how to use what we're selling, perhaps we should be telling you, right? And that was kind of like where
that was it for you.
Yeah.
But I'm happy you made a statement and you were saying that most of the times we see men take those stage, and you're a woman and you're doing it. I don't just want us to sit and have this conversation. Like, I want us to know that people are watching, young girls are watching who want to do something, but they're scared of the limitations that, okay, it's a man's world. For you as a woman, what would you say some of your limitations were when you started? I know you started from the bottom and you grew yourself to the amazing person that you are now. But what are some of the limitations that you face as a woman?
Good question. So I always say something when I meet people for the first time. I don't have the loudest voice. So it would mean that a lot of times, one thing that I say like the core is you really do have to put in effort to be heard. Beyond how tiny or squeaky your voice sounds, you need, like, you have to move past the feeling like, I don't think that anyone's going to hear me. I don't think anyone is listening. Bite and, get your voice heard. Another thing, this one's interesting. I think that as women, we kind of tend to overcompensate, where you're like, I find that a lot of my male counterparts don't really do that overthinking thing of, see, how would this sound? So if I say this thing, are people going to get upset? So it's hard, but it is like very doable. If you have feedback, especially for people, say it. Literally. And don't try to like sugarcoat or try to say, okay, I have to make it sound a certain way so they can listen. It doesn't matter. Like, really, people will get used to you being direct, and people will adjust. It's just what it is. So don't shrink your voice. Don't be scared to give feedback. Be very okay with being direct with people and communicating exactly what it is you want them to do. You'd find that as you grow in your career, people start to appreciate you for being that person, that's able to say exactly what they're thinking, and will start to, come around and come to you for even more stuff, because they know, okay, this person's going to get it regardless, to get it done.
Regardless. So, but as a successful woman, what would you say you are doing in your own path to change that narrative? Because we all know that there's a narrative out there. The women, we put in a lot of work. We can do so well, but oftentimes there's a narrative that, there's this place, she's supposed to end here, she's supposed to do this. What would you say you are doing to make people know that, this narrative has to be changed? Women are now at the forefront.
Yeah, tough question, because I like to say, even to my team when they told me about this, I do not like to in the limelight. God, I want to just remain in the shadows. I want to just remain in the shadows, and I'm like very comfortable with that, because it's like the easiest part of the job. But then you start to see that, people actually need to see that sort of representation. The kind you talked about, that people want to see themselves in other people. And there's literally no way we're going to get that change done if you're just going to remain in the shadows.
Sure.
For somebody who is like in their teens, and I'm guessing that's where you're still trying to figure out what you want to do, if you're not seeing representation of people who look like you doing the things you want to do, you're going to assume that's not possible. So yeah, I'll tell you something I've started to do with a bit personal is get more comfortable with being in the limelight. So I've been in the forefront. And I think this one's interesting for, I know International Women's Day gets a lot of PR. Yeah, but something that we've started to do, or we did agree, or we do agree, is for International Women's Day every year, we try to take on like African businesses or businesses in any of the emerging markets that we operate that have women founders, and kind of like do a coaching thing / give them grants so that you're more comfortable, sit at the table with the big boys, like, making those decisions.
You be a big boy too.
Yeah, that's what it's making those decisions, it kind of gives you like some sort of, I would say, recourse. You get a bit familiar, you get a bit more comfortable. I know people like to say that every time someone is doing something for women, but the truth is, women are still very underfunded. Women are still not in all the places that they should be. We don't have that much representation, so it kind of still needs to be done. So yeah.
And I'm very happy that I asked you that particular question, because most of the times we speak to women and they just share their stories and all of that, and we're like, there's something that needs to be changed. There's a narrative that needs to be changed. So whenever I get to talk to any successful woman, I want to make sure that they're putting something in place, so that it's not just us sitting down and talking, women can be here, but how we are changing the narrative outside. And I'm very happy that you're doing something really good, coaching people. That's a big one, so we give you an applause for that. But let's talk about Gray. You hold a very big position there, head global marketing and growth, if I'm correct. That's really, really pivotal and huge. How are you able to manage yourself as a woman once again with that position, and how has it been like?
It's been interesting. I would say that it's a bit cliche, but I don't like to think about my position from a gendered lens, because I always say, so if it was a man in this room and he held this position, you would ask him how you're able to manage it as a man, right? So I like to think about work from a non-gendered position, because it kind of helps you focus on the things that you need to be doing, and the barriers I spoke about earlier that you create in your brain, mental blocks, you're like not there. So it's been interesting. Gray is a very interesting product, and watching it grow, I've been a Gray for the longest, and watching it grow from being like a small unknown brand to where it is today is, I would say, very fulfilling and exciting. What does my role look like? I manage a team in how many countries? I manage a global team, right?
Yeah.
I'll be honest and say at the moment I don't know exactly how many people are on my team.
Preach it, sis.
But I should actually find out about that. But I
Yeah.
manage a global team of people in multiple countries, and because again we are fully remote and everyone is in a lot of places, I do have to travel a lot for work as well. It means that you're almost always on the clock. Struggle with work-life balance a little, figuring it out, but you also need to be available for everyone somehow. And because I have such a sensitive role, it means that a lot of times I'm the first point of call for a lot of things. So someone is almost always asking, so what's your opinion on this, what's your opinion on that? What else do I need to say? I am thinking, but that's a bit more
You mentioned traveling a lot, so I want you to take me through a day in your life with the position that you have. A day in your life, how is it? Let's just say like a normal Monday.
Oh, normal Monday meetings. God, so many meetings. I have a ton of meetings a lot of time. But meetings, checking in with my larger team, and checking in with the exec team, that's the management team, the C-suite. Checking in with the product team, checking in with the support team to make sure that it's a new week and everything is going as it should. Again, because we're global, we don't really use, I'm in Lagos at the moment, but I'm not operating on what, right? I have to kind of like work with whatever wherever my CEO is at the moment. So like if he's in SF at the moment, I think, so it's night for him, but when he sends me a message at 9 p.m. my time, and it's like, I have to be there. So that's kind of what it looks like. I don't have a regular 9 to 5 day. My day, it kind of like starts when it starts and ends when it ends. Thankfully, we've kind of built out a system where we're able to manage like PR crisis and things like that. I mean, those will always happen. But if there's something like that going on, I have to manage it. I have to also at the same time, I get requests to speak a lot. I'm working on it. I'm trying to be more visible, but then figure out which one I want to do and things like that. It does also involve a bit of coordinating like events in the places that we operate. Gray operates in about 74 countries, right? So it means that for all of those countries, you want to know what's happening at each point in them. For the countries that we have, I think there's about 10-11 countries where we have like operations in specifically. I kind of want to also get a pulse on what's happening there. What else happens in my day? Read reports, drink coffee. I drink a lot of coffee.
I was going to say, I'm like, what? Doesn't she eat? I was going to be like, don't you eat?
Drink a lot of coffee, and then figure out what's happening. I know people don't like to hear this bit, but I don't know anybody who has got into like a very significant position in their career that has like an actual 9 to 5. Like it starts at 9 and ends at 5. Never happens. It's a scam that they also to us, right? You will have to put in extra hours. I mean, those extra hours get you sane, but at the same time, because of the volume of things that you need to do, it's almost impossible to like a 9 to 5. So my day, every day is different. It's exciting a lot of times. I like when I get to travel. So because we're building a product for digital nomads, you kind of have to be a digital nomad, and experience how people in different parts of the world will be experiencing your product. So I enjoyed that bit of my job, like traveling and experiencing cultures, because you see that people have different cultural nuances. Yeah, and that kind of shapes how you want to market your product to them. So that part is really cool.
Okay. Well, a little bit told me that, ever since you joined Grey, you have done amazingly well. Okay. Are they correct?
Okay.
So I want to know what the most fulfilling moment has been like for you.
Oh, there's a lot to pick out from.
But one special thing that you were like, you hit your chest and you're like, Kachi, yes, this is me. I've arrived.
Can I say 2?
Okay, 2. Let me give you 2.
Okay. First one. This one is like very early stage, but super important to me. So in the tech space, getting into Y Combinator is such a big deal, right? So when I remember the night because like YC is in SF, so for us, I was in Lagos then, yeah. So for me, it was night, and my CEO called me and said, "Okay, so we got into Y Combinator," and I'm like, because we had like tried like twice, and it didn't work out the first time, and then they said, "Okay, so your numbers need to be better and all of that stuff." We're like, "Okay, sure, we'll take that feedback and apply again." And when that happened, I remember feeling validated, sort of like, right, okay, so we are building something that people. I mean, Wise's tagline is "Make something people want." So it felt in the moment like we were actually building something people wanted. So that's the first one. Tiny memory, but means a lot. Second one, I would say getting to 1 million users, right? Because not a very big number, but I started at 0, right? So it was great to see on our analytics dashboard, see it change from 99999 to like 1 million. It was like
I know that feeling.
I was like, wow.
What did you do when you saw 1 million?
Like, wow, okay, 1 million people trust us. Yeah, so like that felt very good. That felt really, really good.
You know, with your experience with startup as well as marketing, you know, what would you say are the common mistakes that startup companies make?
That's interesting. I have a lot to say on this issue, as you can tell from my side. But I think that's something that I see a lot of early stage businesses make is from the jump, not treating your business like a business. And I think this one is not even just particular to like tech startups. People who have small businesses kind of like make this mistake as well. So from day one, when you decide like I want to have a business, start treating your business like a business. I'm going to say why. So I would say, for example, when your business starts to grow, something that you're going to be looking at doing is like attractive funding, getting investors to give you more money so you can scale. And the one thing I want to see before you do that is your books. Now, if from day one your books have not been in order, you're going to be running around trying to figure out what to do, might not be able to attract funding the way you want, and you would not understand why. But that's something that, especially to a lot of Western investors, is important, right? Another mistake that I see people try to make very early is going wide instead of going deep. Or explain. I interestingly talked about this in Nairobi last year. Yeah, something that people actually, I think it was this year, February. So I was on a panel talking about startups. Should you go wide or should you go deep? And I think it was the general consensus that when you're starting, it makes more sense to hammer in on where it's working than trying to cover everywhere at once. So it's a logical thing. If I'm trying to get let me say 1,000 people to give me 1,000 naira, right? And I live in Lagos, and I know 1,000 people in Lagos. There's a higher chance for me to get those people I know in Lagos to give me money than say, you know what my product sells, everybody all over the world can use it. So why don't I ask someone in Abuja? Why don't I ask someone in Ghana? That's going to cost you more because you want to. If you think about what I'm saying, like a business, it means that you're spending more in marketing, infrastructure, ops. When you could, have just doubled down on where you already have existing roots before, and make money from there before you then start to go wide. So I think that's another mistake that I see like startups try to, make, or businesses as well, going wide first instead of going deep. Another mistake I see people make is undermining how much trust plays a role in how people choose to buy from you. At the end of the day, we're all selling, right? And how people, so I'm sure my team is tired of hearing me say this, but every Monday when we have like team calls, one of the things that I will most definitely say is purchases are not logical decisions. People buy things based off their emotions. They're tired of hearing me say it, but it's true. If you cannot accurately pinpoint the time when you wanted to buy something and you want, it's a logical decision, I'll make it. It doesn't work like that. It's mostly always tied to, this is going to make me feel this way, or I've seen somebody see this, see this, I liked it. People perceive me this way, or I just want it. And by the definition of logic, that's not how you make logical decisions. So if you keep in mind that how people buy things is like true emotions, trust is like an emotion that you want to lean into.
True, yeah.
So stop trying to, I'm going to explain how it works and they'll see the value. It never works. Never ever works. You want to connect with them where, how do I say this? You want to connect with them where it makes sense. And where it makes sense for a lot of people, how you connect with people is like emotions. So don't never undermine how much trust plays a role in why people buy from you. And never, or I think startups / early stage businesses do that. Most people want to very early jump into, influencer marketing / word of mouth, or make your product work, and people will talk to other people about it. And those people that you're talking to about it, they trust them, so they'll be more likely to, try out your product because someone they trust is recommending it to them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Amazing. But also we have to speak about the fact that people will often say it's not about starting a business, it's about sustaining the business. Like we've seen a lot of businesses start 1 year, 2 months, 6 months, 2 years, and they crash. And sometimes it's not like they don't put in a lot of work, but I'm sure it's some mistakes that they're making here and there. Gray has been there for 4 years, if I'm correct, and you're still standing. What would you say are some of the things that the company implemented to keep it still standing now with consistency, and how other people that want to start business can lean on that and also keep their business alive?
Interesting question. The answer to this question is not cool, sadly. It's hard. It's not one of those questions that, the answer gets people very excited. But I would say be willing to do the hard stuff. Starting a business, like you've rightly said, it's not easy. But at the same time, from day one, be okay with doing the hard stuff. Nobody wants their business to fail. I don't think anyone actually starts out a business trying to get it to fail. But do not undermine the effect of the impact that setting up the structure has on your business. And I think this one might be a bit of a personal conviction, but be willing to, not pay yourself for some time. That's
Say that again. Say that
personal
again.
conviction, but be willing to not pay yourself for some time. When you start a business, for most people and for most startups, you don't immediately start making profit.
True.
Right?
I hear it's after 5 years. Is it true? I read it somewhere that the first 5 years of the business is for you to build yourself, and I'm like, what? Please tell me it's not true.
Not entirely.
Okay, thank God.
Not entirely. I don't think we should take that as
Yeah.
fact. But I think if you figure out your structure, which is why structure is important, right? So the what you do in the early stage of your business in the first 1 year, 2 years is kind of what sets the tone for what's going to look like 5 years, 10 years down the line. So figure out your structure early. Finance is very important. I see people not trying to hire a head of finance or an accountant till the very last minute. Don't do that. Don't do it. Figure out your finances very early. You might not have money to hire a fancy CFO or something if you're just starting out, but I'm sure you know someone who study accounting, has done ICANN, and what's the other example? Right, all of those things. They can help you, put a structure to your business. Writing a business plan doesn't sound cool, but it does help you. Investors will want to see those things, and if you figured it out very early, in your startup, it kind of shows you have a vision, right? Because investors are not just thinking about the viability of your business; they're also investing in the person, and they want to understand that you're a person that has vision, right? So figuring out your structure and operations early. Free advice gives you an edge whenever it is you're going to ask an investor for money, because they can connect to the fact that this person has vision, right? You've done all of this stuff early. I'm not asking you, okay, so where do you see your business in 5 years? I'm like, okay, so I think that we should be making XYZ. What's your revenue projection? You should have that already. So that gives me confidence as an investor that, okay, if I give you my money, you're a forward-thinking person and you will be able to put it to good use.
Yeah. I was just going to come to that, talking about funding. We can sit all here and say, it's difficult. Let's be honest.
True.
For people to give you money, it's not a joke. You already said some, but what are some of the things you think that startups can do? Of course, figures, of course, having your business proposal and all of that. But what are some of the things that they really need to implement to convince people to bring money out of their pockets, out of their bank accounts? I feel like that's the hardest thing to even do.
I think, again, I sound like I'm talking to my team on a Monday morning. purchases, which investments are, and not logical decisions. At the same time, you want to appeal to people. You want to connect with people where it makes sense to them. Investment is, I mean, like you said, getting someone to part with 10K, even like as small as
5K, even they are not ready to give you.
Is it's hard, right? Because I'm thinking, what if I don't get this money back? I mean, nobody's investing for the fun of it. People want to get returns.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you hear about businesses raising Series B, Series C, and your investors at that point are giving you as high as $10 million and all that stuff. But for them to get to businesses at that stage, it's headed out on seed stage businesses where you're still raising money from family and friends, and you're trying to get every $1,000 you get matters. That's why I said personal conviction is okay to not pay yourself for a while. Something that, especially when you're a seed stage startup, something people are going to ask you is, so how much of your money is in this? So I'm not going to put my money if you're not putting your money. Like, you don't even trust yourself enough, right? So be okay with like investing in yourself first. You're your first investor. You're your first investor before you ask anyone for money. If you're coming to me to say, oh, I'm trying to build this wonderful thing and I want you to give me money, okay, so how much equity do you have in this business, and what have you put in there? Like, what have you done? And I want to see that you actually believe in what you're doing. And the way that I know that you are convinced is if you're willing to put your own money behind it. So there's that. I think another thing, I mean, aside from getting your finances straight from day one, is connecting with investors. Like, be okay. You're gonna get news. Given everybody's not gonna bring you your vision.
True.
You're gonna get news, but sounds very hard to do. Don't lose hope for those who are hard to say it. Be comfortable with like your news. Something that I have seen, I mean, from a ton of people I know who are, you know, in the startup field is, such I've heard that's like very good. Ask for feedback. So why are you not convinced? Why don't you think that you can, you know, get behind my idea? And it kind of gives you, I'm not gonna lie, that's like free feedback.
True.
Because by the time you're gonna speak to the next investor,
person,
you know, okay, so an investor is looking for, they want to see that my business is viable. So if I'm speaking to the next person, I should be highlighting my viability. Also, I think this one is more specific to businesses in tech that, you know, get funding from VCs and things. There are certain investors that only fund certain kind of businesses. So if you see that this group of VCs, they're mostly investing in businesses that are, you know, in health tech. And let's say what you're doing is like prop tech or agriculture tech. The chances that they would be willing to like invest in you slim. So don't take it too much to heart if they say no, because most of what they are going to do is going to be in the space where them and their LPs feel comfortable. So it's not a you thing. So don't internalize your no's. What else can startups do to attract funding better?
You know, you said something that really made a lot of sense. You need to invest in yourself first. And I feel like that's the one thing that if you want to take anything out of this interview, because I've seen people that will say they have a business, but they're not ready to put anything in it. And you made a lot of sense, because why do you want somebody to put something in something that you cannot put something in? So girl, high five. I think this was something that I really picked, you know, from the interview. But let's also talk about, you know, work culture, because you work with you're global, so you know there are a lot of people that you work with. How's the work culture? And also I want to ask you, how is it like working with the Gen Zs?
Can I plead the fifth?
I heard this thing that they say you suck them and they're like purr. But how is it like?
So interestingly, let me do work culture first. Work culture is my CEO says culture is inbuilt. So like culture starts from the founders. Right, culture is not something that you see. You're working on our culture. Okay, so let's go and team bonding. That's not how it works, right? Culture kind of starts from like the founders, and then it trickles down to senior management, and then it goes down to every employee in the company. So again, for startup founders / entrepreneurs who are trying to build up businesses, you're the culture that you want to build. So if you're a toxic person, there's no way you're not going to create like a toxic culture, right? If you're a problematic person, there's no way that you're not going to create a culture that's problematic. So it kind of starts from you. So work culture is pretty internal, right? For us at Gray, I mean, I might be biased, but I think like we have a pretty great work culture.
Well, what are you gonna say before?
We have a
It's
pretty great
expected.
work culture, right?
Yeah.
And every team lead / everyone who heads like a department, you kind of have the responsibility of making sure that the larger company culture is reflected in your team, right? You want to make sure that people feel comfortable to come up to you and talk about what's bothering them and things like that, right? So culture is important, and I think it starts from founders, right? You cannot give what you don't have.
All right.
For
The Gen Zs.
wow, I was
What
waiting
it's
for
like you've had a bad experience. And
I wouldn't say bad experience, but I mean everybody. I think people give Gen Zs a lot of hate actually, which is not all bad at all. I think it's more. I don't think it's a. I think it's a when you're born thing. For example, I think it's more of like the kind of person that you are. I've worked with like very fantastic Gen Zs. I know Gen Zs doing amazing things that I'm like, wow, how did you think of doing this, right? So I would say working with Gen Zs is not bad at all, right? But working with people who are problematic, that's where the problem starts, right? So working with Gen Z is great. All the Gen Zs on my team. I hope if you watch this, I'm giving you all the thumbs up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the problem I think is not really if you're Gen Z or if you're millennial, it's if you're a problematic person.
I think it starts basically with you. It's what you give out that you will get.
You will get.
But with everything that you've done, what would you say is the future for you? I don't even want to talk about the company. For you as a person with the solid brand that you've built for yourself, where do you see yourself in let me just say 5-10 years?
This sounds like one of those first date questions. Well, where do I see myself in 5 years? I want to say still in tech, but that would not be entirely honest. I like to say that one of my favorite things about myself, so what my career looks like now, is I have pretty much done almost everything. So there's really no way to say that I'm going to still be in tech. I interestingly want to get a law degree.
Okay.
I want to get a law degree, so in the next 5 years, who knows, I might be, called to bar somewhere.
So maybe I can commit a crime and call you.
Wow. Be called to bar somewhere. But I think
Okay.
that's something I might want to do just because.
Okay.
Not for any fantastic reasons. But yeah, that's about
Wow. I think high five once again. You have it all figured out. They say superwoman, and this is the true definition of a superwoman. But do you like games? Because we've been talking, the heat is on. We want to release all the tension. Do you like games?
Sure.
You love games?
Oh, I love
Okay,
games.
so we're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go play games with my guest. This is MTN Career Series. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's still MTN Career Series, and I've been with the beautiful, the fantastic, the superwoman, the beacon of hope to a lot of African girls, Kachi, right here. But it's time for us to play games, and she says she likes games, so I'm very much excited. Okay. Don't fall my hands. Your Gen Z people are watching you. The Gen Zs are watching you. So this one is the Mogul Monikers. I'm going to give you hints, and then you tell me whether it's a brand or a person or whatsoever. So we have from number 1 to number 72. So you pick a number and. But let me just say this is very tough, and I wish you all the very best.
Oh, that's scary.
So you have to pick 1 to 72.
I hate making decisions. This feels like work. I'm going to pick 11.
Number 11. Girl,
Okay, that's
I wish you knew better. Okay, let's go. It says, known as a queen of Afrobeat in Nigeria, she built a massive music in Nigeria and abroad. Who is she?
Savage.
Girl! And you were acting like you didn't know who we're talking about. Okay. Let's go.
Next one.
Okay,
I'm going to roll 21.
I'll get you now. I think that's okay. 21. Please choose another one. I think let me have mercy on you. You've not been a bad guest. Choose another one.
31.
31. Okay. What does 31 say?
I'm scared.
Okay. Let's go. Do you want to pick another number?
Okay, perhaps I should stop picking numbers that end in 1. 7. Let's pick
7. Let's go back. Let's go back to
7.
the. Oh, this is quite easy. So he's an English entrepreneur who founded a music streaming service that disrupted the traditional music industry. Who is he? Very popular. He's British as well. He founded a streaming, streaming platform. Everybody listens to it. When you take your phone, you download the app. I'm giving you Expo. Download it. It starts with S.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out
It starts
what
with
his name is.
No, like if you tell me the app, it's even fine.
Spotify.
Okay. I helped in this one, so I'm taking half of the accolades. All right. So it's Daniel EK, Spotify.
Yes, Daniel.
Okay. All right. So your last number for this one.
10.
Number 10. Oh, quite easy. So this media mogul founded a digital video sharing platform that became synonymous with online video content. Quite easy. Whenever you want to watch videos, you just go there. No, that's Facebook if I'm correct. This one, whenever you want to watch a music video or anything, you can just go and press it and watch it there.
YouTube.
Okay. I'm helping. Guys, I'm helping a lot. So I'm taking half of the accolades. But this was beautiful.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
still did well.
I need to work on my pop culture.
Yeah. Quite easy. So these are the pictures. I'm going to tell you what they are, but then you put it together and tell me what it is. You good?
It is.
Okay. So we have the Tesla, and we have the battery, we have the car.
Elon Musk.
Perfect. That's my girl. Let's go. We have the
Jeff Bezos.
Okay, girl.
These are my people.
Okay. So let's go. We have the bank, we have money, and we have a call.
Oh, this is tough.
My love, please get this. Get this particular one because it's your field.
Yeah. Oh, my
Money.
Cash App.
No, not Cash App. What money?
Mm-hmm.
The
Money
bank,
and
money, and a call. It starts with F. Now they want to tell her in the crowd, close your eyes because I don't trust these people.
No. Okay, you have a bank, you have money, and you have a call.
And it starts with F.
Fair money.
F.
Fintech?
Yeah.
Just thinking about people. I was thinking about people. Like, people.
What did you say? You said fair what?
It's like fair money.
I thought I thought you said free money. I would say, where is it? Let's go and take it. But anyway, that was really beautiful. I can tell you know your onions when it comes to Jeff Bezos, the way you were just mentioning it. Now I can tell you know your onions with that. But anyway, we're not done with the games. Yeah, no, we're not done. We're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we have the acronyms in 30. We're going to be doing acronyms. Are you good with acronyms?
I mean, you can see
Let's find out after this break. Don't go anywhere. It's still MTN Career Series, and Kachi is still here with me. Acronyms in 30?
Sure.
Okay, so let me give you the rule of the game. The acronyms are in 30 seconds. So the way, when I'm calling it, you just be giving me the fire, be answering. Just be answering as I'm calling it. Okay, let me just hold you. I wish you all the best. I really wish you the best. B2B.
Business to business.
B2C.
Business to consumer.
CRM, sorry.
Customer relationship manager.
KPI.
Key performance indicator.
AI.
Artificial intelligence.
VR.
Virtual reality.
Oh, that's my girl. That's my girl. That's my girl. Fantastic. No, you did well.
Yeah.
I'll give you a 7 over 10. Fair enough. Fair enough. But thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing. I feel like not just the guest, I myself, I've acquired a lot of knowledge from what you said. And we just love to see women like you. You're taking center stage, and I'm sure that a lot of young girls would definitely look up to you and say, if Kachi can do that, definitely I can do that. So you've become a beacon of hope. So we thank you so much for being a guest on the show. You are always. But before we let you go, I want you to look straight into your camera and just speak to young girls, that want to do something better with your lives.
Don't be scared. I know people say this a lot, but you don't need to diminish who you are for people to start to take you seriously. It's okay to try to aim for that high-flying role and be soft-spoken and all of those things. You don't need to lose the essence of yourself to get to where you need to be.
What a fantastic season it has been. We've given you 12 remarkable guests. We've brought people that have given you life-changing conversations. And guess what? The season is ending. I'm very much happy because I know I'm leaving you with something that would definitely get you up and get you motivated. But not to worry. Next season, we're back again with banging and exciting guests. But I also really want you to always stay yellow.